All right, everybody, welcome back to another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a look at severe weather alerts.
Okay.
And, this is something that I think a lot of people think they have a pretty good grasp on.
Yeah.
But I think when we start to kind of peel back the layers here,
Right.
there's some really interesting stuff to look at. And you've given us a great batch of news articles here that we can dive into.
Yeah.
A lot of these are from recent weather events. So these are,
Yeah.
real world examples
Absolutely.
of
Yeah.
how these alerts are used.
Uh.
And one thing that I noticed is that there are a lot of searches for tornado warnings
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
And a lot of these seem to be concentrated in the southeast, like
Yeah.
Raleigh, North Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a hot topic, and it's especially this time of year.
Right.
As we're sort of heading into that spring severe weather season.
Right.
And yeah, there's a lot of nuance to this.
Yeah. So maybe you should start with the basics here for people who, maybe aren't totally familiar. Like, what's the difference between a watch and a warning?
Yeah, so I think the most basic way to think about it is that a watch means that the conditions are there for severe weather to develop.
Okay.
So, think of it as like a heads up, all the ingredients in the atmosphere are in place for, say, tornadoes or severe thunderstorms to form.
So it's not necessarily a guarantee, but it's more of a like, hey,
Right.
pay attention,
Exactly. Yeah, keep an eye on the sky. Things could get interesting.
Right, right. And then a warning, on the other hand, is when, it's actually happening.
Right. A warning means that severe weather is happening now or is imminent.
Got it.
So that means, a tornado has been sighted or radar is indicating a severe thunderstorm. That's the time to take action.
Okay, so watch is like a yellow light, warning is like a red light.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that analogy.
All right, so we've got watches and warnings, but then we also have different types of watches and warnings, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, we've got tornado watches, tornado warnings. We've got severe thunderstorm watches, severe thunderstorm warnings.
Okay.
And each one is really specific to that type of weather threat.
And so speaking of specific threats, we're seeing all of these news searches about tornado warnings in like Raleigh, North Carolina.
Right.
Tornado warning, Columbia, South Carolina. What does that tell us about how these alerts?
Yeah, I think it shows you that these warnings are really localized. It's not like there's a tornado warning for the whole state of North Carolina or the whole state of South Carolina.
Right.
They're very tailored to specific areas where a threat is imminent.
So just because you see a tornado warning for your county doesn't mean that the whole state's under a warning.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really important to pay attention to the specific location that's mentioned in that warning.
Okay, so we've talked about the different types of alerts.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about, like how these things are issued in the first place.
Yeah.
Like what kind of technology goes into determining, whether a watch or a warning needs to be sent out?
Yeah, so, the big one is Doppler radar.
Okay.
That's a really key tool for meteorologists that allows them to see the formation and movement of storms. They can even detect rotation within clouds that might indicate a tornado. And they're also measuring things like wind shear, which is, a change in wind speed or direction with height.
So it's not just like somebody looking out the window
Right.
and, making a judgment call.
No, there's a lot of science behind it.
Right. And all of those ingredients
Yeah.
that we were talking about for those, favorable conditions.
Right. So those favorable conditions include things like atmospheric instability, high humidity, and then some kind of trigger mechanism like a front moving through the area.
Okay.
So it's a complex recipe, and meteorologists are using, pretty sophisticated models to analyze all of these different factors.
Wow. So it's a lot more than meets the eye.
It is, yeah.
But, with all this technology, I think we have to acknowledge there are some limitations.
Oh, absolutely.
I've definitely heard of false alarms,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes it seems like a tornado can just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah. And, predicting the exact path and intensity of a tornado is incredibly difficult.
Right.
And yeah, false alarms do happen. Unfortunately, that can sometimes lead to, people becoming complacent.
Right. And so
Yeah.
why does all of this matter for our listener out there? What does this all mean for them?
Well, understanding the difference between a watch and a warning can literally save your life.
Right.
If there's a tornado watch, you have some time to prepare. You can bring in outdoor furniture. You can charge your devices, figure out where your safe place is going to be. But if there's a warning, you need to take action immediately. Every second counts.
Right. And knowing where to get that information is also really important.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think local news sources
Mm.
like WRL down in Raleigh,
Yeah.
or WLTX over in Columbia. Those are really crucial for people.
They are, yeah. They can provide those real-time updates
Right.
and, kind of break down those warnings for very specific areas.
So to kind of sum all this up, WASH means be prepared. Warning means take action.
Exactly.
And, it sounds simple enough, but as we've seen, there's a lot that goes into this.
There is, yeah. And, even with all the advancements in forecasting, Mother Nature can still surprise us.
Right.
The best way to stay safe is to stay informed and be prepared.
Great advice.
And, for even more information, I'd encourage you to check out the Storm Prediction Center's website.
SBC?
The SPC, yeah, they've got tons of resources on severe weather preparedness.
All right, fantastic. Well, that's going to do it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.